victim more than I'm telling you. When you don't have forgiveness, you think of revenge. Revenge belongs to God.
At that point, your innocence as a child is lost. You got to learn about that and losing your friend. That's deep.
But he's not playing victim. He is saying, I want to get these chains off me so I can do more for my community.
What was the hardest relationship to mend, or who was the hardest person to give forgiveness to for you? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. This episode of Get In is brought to you by Indie Grills and Outdoor Living, the team that turns boring backyards into hangout heaven. They design and build custom patios, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces made for real life, from quiet family nights to hosting the whole neighborhood. Winter's the perfect time to start planning your dream outdoor space because Indie Grills Spring 2026 schedule is already filling up. If you want your new patio, kitchen, or fireplace ready when the weather warms up, now's the time to get in line. They're local Hoosiers, not a national chain. Just people who care about great design, quality work, and helping you love being outside again. Visit indiegrills.com and lock in your spot for the spring. Before we get into today's episode, please know that parts of the conversation you are about to hear are challenging and at times uncomfortable. With that said, we believe it's important to hear stories from every corner of Indiana to better understand our Hoosier neighbors. Vernon Bateman was convicted of crimes in 1998 and served over 20 years in prison and is now pursuing exoneration for the crimes he was convicted of. I encourage you to do your due diligence. There are many journalists who have covered how this has unfolded over the last 10 years. This episode does give a look into what it was like growing up in Gary, Indiana. My guest today is Vernon T. Bateman. He's an Indiana-based artist, author, and activist who was wrongfully convicted in 1998 and spent over 25 years incarcerated before his release in 2023. He was raised in Gary, Indiana, and he learned to draw before he could read. And during solitary confinement, he created children's books and complex murals that now fuel a growing movement for his full exoneration. I'm also joined by Professor Derek Ford. He's a professor at DePauw University, go Tigers, and a visiting researcher at Korea University in Tokyo, Japan. He is also the organizational relations director at the Indianapolis Liberation Center. He's a great friend of Vernon's and played a crucial role in helping share Vernon's story. Today, we're going to learn about Vernon's life growing up in Gary, how he ended up incarcerated for over 25 years, 13 of which were spent in solitary confinement. We're going to just hear a little bit more about the story and this movement of from children's books to art and mural, like everything you're doing, everything I've seen thus far this is going to be a wild episode, so lock in. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
bro.
Guys. Okay, so this story begins a little bit. If we talk about your grandfather, Bill Franklin, right?
Yeah.
He was a painter, a poet, a framer.
Yeah.
Right? And he's the first person to introduce you to art.
DNA have memory, but I did see him demonstrating doing this thing. Yeah.
Okay, so this story starts in Lake County.
Yes, sir.
Right? Up in Gary.
Yeah.
Take us through what it was like growing up. You were born in 1980?
Yes, sir.
But growing up in Gary in the 80s and 90s, like what was life like up there for you?
Drugs, poverty.
Yeah.
You know.
Like what was life like you get to be, let's say, 10 years old.
Okay.
You're 10 years old. What does a day in the life of you as a 10-year-old in Gary, Indiana look like?
Probably playing basketball.
Yeah? Like school?
Yeah, I play school, yo.
After school, play some basketball, but like you go home, like what's your family dynamic? What does life feel like for Vernon and when he's 10 years old?
Okay, I'm gonna give you the real.
Yeah.
Growing up, my mother was like on drugs and stuff, so it was difficult to be, but she overcame that. So just being a part of her struggle with that and overcoming it.
Did you have siblings?
Me and 3 sisters.
You and 3 sisters living with your mom?
Yeah.
In Gary?
Yep.
What was your house like?
They was overprotected over me. My sisters, everybody I fought, they fought.
Paint us a picture of what a day in the life, what walking into home felt like for you and Gary. And
roaches. Shit.
Yeah.
Real life. Like roaches and,
roaches and rats.
Yeah, roaches and rats, man. Poverty, man, and just trying to make it.
Did you know that you were in poverty? Like at the time, did you know that this is not
Before I lived in Glen Park, and the house that we lived in Glen Park was haunted. So it was different. And even talking about that type of thing, because that's like, people don't believe that type of stuff. But now I guess people starting to see that. I guess it was a movie that came out from Glen Park that people say don't watch the movie, something like that. So we moved from Glen Park to the projects.
When you say projects, like what does that mean?
That's like the lowest Section 8, like $28 for rent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so.
And so there were other families, other kids around you.
Yeah.
And you're in Gary.
Yeah.
Gary gets a bad rap, the stereotypes of Gary is not good. And like some of it is just time, and other parts of it are like probably some undeserved pieces of there.
Every place where it's poverty needs some hope,
Yeah.
From Chicago to the poverty places, it just needs some hope and somebody to do something different to show that it's possible,
Yeah.
Because we only see a structured family through Bill Cosby, a black family, you know what I'm saying? That was the only black structured family we saw beside Good Times and something like that.
Like, who were your mentors, or who were people that you looked up to when you were growing up?
My mother.
Your mother?
Yeah, my
What about like a male influence that you looked up to that said, hey, one day when I grow up, I want to be like so-and-so?
Probably my grandfather. He was off and on because he traveled a lot. He did art, so he did this thing,
A lot of people just in general take these normal everyday things like breakfast, lunch, dinner for granted. Take, a roof over our head without cockroaches and rats and things like that. Yeah. Like I would love to know, man, like, are there memories from before you turned 18 that just stick with you today, that you linger on, of like being a kid and realizing this isn't normal?
In those places, a lot of your friends die.
Like while you're a kid?
Yeah, while you're a kid. So,
what was the first time?
Gun violence and stuff like that.
What was the first time you lost a friend to gun violence?
My buddy, Darnell Abernathy, they said he committed suicide.
How old were you guys?
I was like 11 or something like that.
No way.
Yeah, and he didn't commit suicide. He got robbed. It happened on my birthday. So I'm thinking that he gonna be there at my birthday party and stuff like that, So when I lost him, I felt, and this was like the person that showed me how to dribble a basketball, play G.I. Joes with me and stuff like that.
At that point, your innocence as a child is kind of lost, Like you're 11 years old, and like the normal 11-year-old is expecting, all my friends are coming over, we're going to like hit a piñata and like eat some cake. And you got to learn about that and losing your friend.
Yeah,
that's deep. Did you start to feel deeper emotions? Like I would say the average 11-year-old that goes through their day is like, I don't know, today you're worried about Xbox or Fortnite or whatever, like you're not really feeling these deep, mature feelings. Like, did you, and if you look at your art, and we're going to start to get into that as we get on there, like you can see real emotion. Like you can see real feelings and deep thoughts and processes. Like did this come at a young age for you?
Yeah, actually, they had a thing in the projects that all the projects in Gary are art contests for a fireplace, for firefighters and stuff to spread the word about fire safety and stuff.
Yeah,
the top 3 in this project, the top 3 in that project, the top 3 in this project.
So a contest.
Yeah, art contest. So I ended up winning it.
No way. Yeah. How old were you then?
I think I was like
7th grade.
Something like that.
So you're 7th grade, you win an art, because you learned how to draw and to do art before you learned how to like fully read and write.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, were you going to school and just like...
I don't want to say, because my mother was doing her best, Even under the struggles that she was having, she was doing her best. It's just the fact that school was difficult for me.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't, I was still like peeing in the bed, you know what I mean? Like at a older age, I was still peeing in the bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I embarrassed and all that type of stuff. So even though she'll make sure I get out the house, I skip school,
Yeah.
And it was more poverty kids skipping school too. So
they all. And it's like if you and your friends can go like play basketball down at the park, like find me any 10-year-old that's going to choose to go to school versus play basketball at the park.
Yeah. Especially given what they teach you.
And they dirty too, you know what I'm saying? Like they probably didn't have the most expensive clothes or shoes at the time, you know.
Yeah.
So whenever I had Jordans, I'll go to school. But now I play in them, so they'll be beat up until because I'll play in them, you know.
Yeah. You start to grow up. You end up getting to like a high school age, but I believe you told me before, like went to 1 week of high school maybe.
Yeah.
So, you know, did you have to start working or like what was life like as you were, you know, 15, 16, 17, 18, coming into maturity, becoming a man?
Before that, though, before I even, you know, I told you the situation where I got kidnapped. I got in a car accident. Well, not a car accident. I was riding my bike and the lady while I was riding my bike, a lady hit me and put me in a car with her, you know.
So you got hit by a woman like driving and she kidnaps you.
Yeah.
How long do you end up staying with this woman?
I think like close to like a year or so. You know?
So you end up staying with the wrong woman who's not your mom for almost a year because you're like what were the injuries from the car accident?
My legs was broke.
Your legs were broke. Yeah. So you can't even you couldn't get away if you wanted to get away.
Yeah, I was in a wheelchair.
How old are you?
I can't know for sure. I don't know for sure because once I went to prison, I started forgetting about numbers and age.
Oh, yeah.
And really, people don't know this, but your age, kid, it's all about your mindset on your age, you know. Like you could forget. I forgot my birthday because I was hating to celebrate it while I was in prison, so I forgot it, you know.
Yeah.
And forgot my
So
age.
you're a kid, though, and you get hit by a car, and how do you end up getting back home to your actual mom?
Actually, I was at the mall, and I remember this because I started getting all my memory back, you know. And my mother, she gave me, when we moved to the project, I remember our first house phone, and it was 219-938-1320. That was the phone number. Yeah. So I remember that number, you know, and I was in a wheelchair at the mall with my little brother that the lady called that's told me that was
You're like brother. Not real little brother.
Yeah. So back then they had the thing like a wishing well where they got quarters and stuff. So at the time the payphone was a quarter. So I called that number and my real mother answered the phone. And after that she told me to stay there and all this and don't go nowhere. But the lady came and got the phone and she talking to my mother. And my mother, she talked like a gangster. She cussing and using profanity. Yeah,
I mean, she stole her son.
Yeah.
So wait, did she end up coming to the mall and picking you up?
No, I ended up getting back in a car with the lady because I listened to the lady, you know, and the lady pushed me out the car on the highway. And while the car was going.
What?
Because she knew that you would.
Yeah. So
you're on the side of the highway, and then does someone stop and help you?
No, people was trying to do that, but I already had a fear of getting into somebody else's car.
Oh yeah. So how do you end up finding your mom?
I would crawl to the gas station, like the close
gas
station.
What?
Yeah,
okay.
And, my mother and my auntie have pulled up and. There was another guy that was there that stayed out the car. Some guy that was stayed there with me because my mother has sent a lot of people out there to look around. Like I heard my son.
That's just like something that like, I mean, you could make a movie about that. Like there's just so much there. Like that's a lot for anyone at any age, at any point in your life to live, man. And that's like just where the story starts.
Yeah.
Take me to when you're 18. And your life, it's already been a challenge at this point. Like, and it might not feel like it that much when you're in there and like that's all you know and like this is the struggle, this is life, like this is the projects of Gary. But like as someone who like grew up in a rural, you know, 2-parent household in rural Indiana, like that is not the situation that I've like. That is crazy for anyone at any age to have experienced that, and it gets even more crazy. Yeah. So you're 18 and your life changes forever.
Yeah. I'm gonna take you to 15.
15. Yeah. Okay. Take me to 15.
15, they accused me of shooting the police. Yeah.
You get accused of shooting a police officer when you're 15?
Yeah. So I think I do a year in
juvie.
Yeah, juvenile.
Okay. Attempted murder. And how do you end up? What ends up coming? Did
police officer said it was a guy in the mask that shot me with braids, So that wasn't enough evidence, and they released me. But it took me a year or so to.
How did it feel internally? You're 15 years old, and to come under accusations like that, just for the way that you appear, just for your appearance, how you look. How did that make you feel as a kid?
Bad things was being glorified, even wrong or right. You know what I'm saying?
And go into that. What do you mean by that? Bad things were being glorified.
Like, say even if you was accused of it, it was like you the cool guy. You know what I'm saying?
So like the people in your community were praising, like, oh, so and so is,
it's just like certain rap music. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like they glorifying certain things and they're not really knowing the consequences. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why as I elevate and mature and learn a lot things, that's why I try to give the knowledge in a different way to the different.
Yeah.
And
so like, and you talked about it, like your grandfather was around sometimes, but like your positive male influences in your life were not that many of them. And if the people that you are maybe looking up to are glorifying, catching a case or doing whatever, like that whole thing, like, like everyone wants to, I think a lot of people want to feel approval and want to feel like they belong to a community.
Yeah. And especially if you think about the way that the police interact with the Black community, in the Black poor communities and the projects. I mean, I would say even if Vernon did do it, it would be in self-defense because of the way they, treat those people.
It was times where that was the case, but in my situation, it wasn't because I was at school when they arrested me on that,
But still, I mean, come on. Yeah. Get out of our schools,
Yeah, but they was doing, it was a lot going on at the time with, like, even after that situation, then I get accused for a murder.
So wait, after that situation at 15, you get accused for a murder again?
Yeah, and 72 hours, they released me.
This is where it starts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really where it starts.
So what happens there? Give me the story. How old are you at this point?
16 or 17,
Yeah, you're 16 or 17, and you get accused of murder?
Yeah.
Okay, so take me through what does that look like? Like someone is accused of murder, you're at your house and you get arrested, or like what?
Well, I think I turned myself in on it.
Okay, so you find out there's a warrant for you.
Yeah. No, not a warrant. It was like more like, I believe, I don't know if it was a warrant or whatever, but I went and got the interrogation thing about it and all that, and I would remember it. And once they see that I didn't have no involvement, they released me,
Wow.
Yeah.
But they were looking for you.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like they, like in these two scenarios, getting brought up as a suspect of these crimes?
The environment was it's like everybody look alike,
Yeah.
The environment, like,
okay.
Everybody, and that was the style to look alike at the time. That was the style, like Bone Thugs and Harmony, the Braves, that type of thing,
Yeah.
That was the style, So if a person, and then it just, you just need somebody to be.
If there's a crime, like, at some point someone did something, like whoever, whether they're, looking like or not looking like, whoever it is, like, okay. And so, that's hard.
Yeah, that's difficult, but you're not knowing this, and you're not, like right now, a lot of, they say, like, YNs, everybody wearing a ski mask, and even all year, like, people wearing it in the store, so if they say if a person did this with a ski mask, you fit the description, you fit the ski mask, you know what I'm saying? But people not knowing this and not aware that your fashion is make you a suspect.
Yeah. Okay.
But people don't look at that, and our youth don't look at that because they don't, and they just trying to look at who don't want to look like Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? At the time, who don't want to, that's the S curl was the style, you know what I'm saying? So that fit the thing.
You get released in 72 hours. Yeah. So now you've been the suspect of 2 different crimes that you did not commit before you're 18.
Yeah.
Is there the next one? Is that when you're 18?
I did have a gun, and I shot somebody in the butt.
So now you have a gun.
Yeah.
How did that end up coming to be?
Trying to be cool type of thing, but I was playing with a gun and shot a guy in the butt.
Like, how does a kid anywhere get your hands on a gun?
You from the country?
Yeah, no. I think I think like people got guns more than they got money and more than they got food.
Yeah.
And even to this day, So that's why it takes somebody to be in the fire, to sit in the fire and see the consequences of people that you think that, that made mistakes. That's why I designed what I did with the corporation.
Yeah. Was that common? Like, you're growing up, you're 15, 16, 17, like people playing with guns in your community?
Yeah. And people getting killed with guns. People getting, killing their friends. And it's a lot. It happened, That's what's going on.
So then do you go serve time for shooting somebody? Yeah. No? What ends up coming out of that?
Probably this situation here.
Things advance. When you become, in 1998, you end up getting convicted of multiple counts of violent crimes, correct? Yeah. And you end up getting incarcerated in 1998.
Yeah.
Take me through that process of you are now,
Now I got a daughter. Now I got a child on the way. I got a child mother now.
Yeah.
Well, she was pregnant with my daughter.
Yeah.
My daughter 27 now.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Appreciate it, man. But yeah, my daughter's mother died while I was in prison.
Your daughter's,
Yeah, my child's mother. She died while I was in prison,
You're an expecting father. Like at that time though, you're 18. You're an expecting father.
Yeah.
You're currently getting convicted for violent crimes.
Yeah.
And take us through that, bro. Like when you're standing there, you're sitting there. I don't know how that feels like when someone says you're guilty and we sentence you to 25 years in prison.
30 years.
30 years in prison.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
I couldn't believe it because I'm like, how can I even prove myself, without no DNA, without no medical records, and they said the lady had gonorrhea and different things. And
you want to take us through?
So I filed a motion in 1998 to get a DNA test, and the judge denied it. So I didn't know really even. And then the guys that's in prison helped me do that. That was in the county jail.
So another prisoner in the county jail helps you file a motion or a movement to get a DNA test for this woman who was accusing you of sexual assault?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what 18-year-old anywhere is going to know what you're supposed to be doing here?
Yeah. I didn't even know how to read, The average 18-year-old probably know how to read,
Yeah.
Well, not technology that made it,
So do you have a court-appointed, lawyer?
Yeah, you get a public defender. Mm-hmm. I didn't go. My public defender was trash. Well, he wasn't good.
Just a couple of examples.
Yeah.
I mean, in early January, two people, Takesha Nash and then Angela Truitt, show up at the hospital, call the police, and in his case, it's Angela Truitt, and present the exact same stories about that take place at the exact same place and time.
Yeah. One girl said 4 guys raped her. The other girl said 3 guys raped her.
Yeah.
But the guys that they said ejaculated inside of them, they let everybody go.
Yeah.
I was the only person that was arrested.
Yeah.
Well, me and the other.
But Saran, right? Yeah, Saran Foley. But here's the thing, is that it wasn't until a couple months later that Detective Mary Banks showed up at the alleged victim's house, Angela Truitt, with a photo book.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where apparently she ID'd Bateman, right? However, Truitt did not show up to the first 2 court hearings, and so she had to be subpoenaed by the judge to show up. The only eyewitness is the co-defendant, Saran Foley, right? He's not allowed to testify. Instead, Mary Banks delivered his testimony, depriving Vernon of the right to cross-examine, right? Yeah. Now, meanwhile, she says, yes, I took Miss Truitt to Methodist County Lake Hospital or whatever. Sexual assault kit was performed. Do you know where that is? No, I do not know where that is. She says, and then they have the nurse come up. And she signed for it. And then they have the nurse come up and they ask her what goes into this, sexual assault kit, et cetera, DNA, et cetera.
Let me pause for a second.
Yeah.
Now, this detective, remember I tell you they accused me of a murder in 72 hours. So this it's the same son. This is her son. The guy that they accused me of, this is his mother, or stepmother through marriage or something.
Wait, the guy. Oh,
Yeah.
the guy that got murdered.
Yeah, that signed for the rape kit and DNA.
Wait. Okay, so the murder that happened where you got released within 72 hours.
Yeah.
That was this detective's son who was killed.
Mary Banks, or nephew or something.
Some relation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had it out for him.
You get arrested in March of 98. You're 18 years old.
18 years old.
And then you go to trial.
Yeah.
And get convicted.
Any DNA evidence without any alibi. They never asked for his alibi.
Yeah.
Without any due process, without following any protocols, without any sexual assault, without nothing tying him to the scene of the crime.
So what was like the final, like, hey, we have this statement from the detective?
Basically, like, I fit the description, you know?
Yeah.
So now, since we've been fighting and everything, and the prosecutor, I filed a subpoena to tuck him while I was in the hole. They like, what are you going to the hole for? They don't have no reason to put me in the hole. Most of the time.
When you say the hole, what does that mean?
I'm sorry, that's in prison and that's isolated confinement.
That's
solitary.
Solitary confinement.
Yeah.
So like you're in prison and then going to the hole is solitary confinement.
Yeah, you don't know if it's night or day.
So at 18, you get sentenced to 30 years in prison. Can you, like, I want to know that moment when that verdict is delivered.
I was broken, man, because I didn't know I couldn't comprehend the time at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I couldn't comprehend
almost twice your life.
Yeah,
that you had currently lived at that point.
Yeah, so I couldn't even comprehend really the language that he was saying.
Yeah,
I didn't even know the real. I didn't know the difference from guilty or innocence. I didn't the verbal wordplay. I didn't know it felt like a slave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I didn't know what's the definition of innocence or guilty. I didn't know I don't know how to read and stuff. You know?
Yeah,
yeah. I go to the county jail. So the county jail was like, how? Everybody was like, you know, the guys that back in jail was like, how is this possible, bro? Like how? You know, and I just saw a guy. I can't remember his name right now, but he had got sentenced to 20 years and killed himself, you know. Yeah, he had hung himself, got sentenced to 20 years and killed himself. So I'm thinking like, man, you know, the pressure of everything, and most people is
like that's 20 years and you've got 30.
2 30-year sentences to be served concurrently.
Okay.
And you should see the justifications for it, right? The risk that he'll do it again, right? Its characters as follows: dishonest, violent, manipulative. A lot of these are coded words. You know what I'm saying? Like basically a black man. They're trying to say he's black with all these words.
And I'm thinking still, like, when I reached out in prison, you know, guys was helping me. For a long time, I thought that I was the only one in prison for rape, you know. Because I'm the only one that can like show my paperwork to get help. I gotta show it to get help, you know. And people that was locked up for rape didn't want to show their paperwork, and didn't want to come out to say, "Little shit, I'm locked up for rape." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people was hiding that type of charge, so people glorify the dope and murder and stuff like that. Those charges is more respected in that world, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of like child molesting and rape and stuff like that. Yeah, like that's really harsh, you know.
So take us through what that looks like of you like show up day one, like of prison, you get put in a cell. Like how do you end up going in and out of solitary confinement and you spend 13 years there? What were you doing that caused them to put you into solitary confinement?
They tell me if I stop writing children books, they'll let me out the hole.
That was in 2022,
Wait,
2023.
Okay, so this is, I mean, there's a lot of time in between.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
So you're in, like, take me through what the day, well, we used to through what a life of a kid in Gary looks like. Yeah. What does the life of someone who's 18 years old and who's serving 30 years in prison look like?
Oh, man, it's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the most hardest thing was education. My neighborhood at the time was like gang related, you know. So I was in the gang, in the gang. And
so you're in a gang?
Yeah, I'm in the gang at the time. And when you go to jail, county jail, you better tell them what gang you in.
You tell them, like the jail, what gang you're in?
Yeah, you better tell them. If not, you go put you somewhere.
The wrong place.
Yeah, and you'll be.
This is the interesting piece that I do want to dive into a little bit. And because it's just so foreign to me. Because I didn't grow up in the projects. I didn't grow up I grew up around guns, but like they were hunting, and this is rural Indiana, like
Absolutely.
we had to go through hunter safety and stuff like that. Yeah. So like you're in a gang, you have a gun, and like this lifestyle is just so different and unique. And like, talk to me about like the forces that were in your life. Like, what was impacting you, and like what was modeling you and shaping you, and where were you learning about how to grow up and what was cool, how to be a man?
How to be a man, I'm learning that like through, once I learned how to read and understand.
Like, was someone in there saying like, hey, actually it's not cool to not know how to read. It's like you should learn how to read. You should educate yourself. You should be better.
In gang,
so the gang was helping you be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the gang. It was because it went from the first misconception of it was a bad misconception of gang.
Yeah.
And so you think of drive-bys, you think of shooting, you think of killing, you think of robbing, you think of gangs.
Yeah.
But it transformed from growth. In development.
Well, when you're on the inside too, like having a community, having people there.
And those who giving me these the guys that's giving me spelling tests, and these the guys that's giving look, and you need to learn this literature. So gang ain't just colors and blue, red and blue like we think. That's the TV give you a misconception. The literature is more structure. Mm-hmm. You can't rob nobody. You see what I'm saying? You can't steal. You can't disrespect the person.
Why do you think that the gang culture really glorifies, like what you talked about, like crimes and guns and all that? Like, why?
Because it's a form of at the time it's a form of like trying to find a way to eat. These people they can't get jobs. They don't believe at certain levels to get jobs with no knowledge. You see what I'm saying? You got to have an application to get jobs. You got to have this type of knowledge. You got to have, but when you really understand it now, the next level of it, like at first being a gangster and all that was something cool,
Because they were, if I can interject, because I teach some of this. Now in the 1970s, that's when neoliberalism, as we call it, takes place. And that's when the state basically withdraws all its funding from the projects, from the inner city. And so who takes over, right, to fill that vacuum? The gangs. Right. And so the gangs are the ones who are educating the youth, who are providing jobs, who are protecting the community and doing a lot of positive things, also negative things.
Yeah.
But positive things
the
too.
drugs came in and made it negative. The drugs came in.
The CIA
and
brought those down.
Yeah, but however, that came in and brought whoever brought it, you had the option to use it or don't use it, or sell it or don't sell it. You know what I'm saying? My thing is this: it was first formed to shape the community because the police was doing a lot to the communities that was destroyed, whatever. And it was, even though we need the police, because if something happened to my child or whatever, I want people to call on the police, you know what I'm saying? If they can't call on certain people, Yeah. It just, those things was being shaped. So when that was being shaped, that was why gangs was what the structure of it had formed. The structure of it had formed. Because now you get a chance to see the OGs. Now you got OGs, and you got revolutionaries. Yeah. Revolutionaries is like, they hate drug dealers. They hate people that glorify that. They hate that. Revolutionaries, because they fought to sit in the equality. So they don't respect a person that's fighting for a block or a neighborhood. That's so kiddie-ish. That's like, your mind is that simple. You should be more broader. It's because we was fighting for a whole community. Instead of a whole like revolutionary, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We weren't fighting for just a block or a street or something like that.
What was the first time you got sent to solitary confinement?
I hid a knife, and they was like, man, where is this knife at? I was like 19 at the time. And the only person at the time knew where the knife was at was me. They like, man, get out of there. They want the knife. It's a kitchen knife. And I just felt like I needed to protect myself from so much, going on. And I'm watching people get raped. I'm watching so much going on inside the prison. And this was before it was cameras in prison, So I go to prison before the cameras. So right now, like you go to prison, you'll sit at your desk and you can see what everybody doing. At this time, nobody knew what nobody was doing, and there was a lot going on in prison.
What was a moment or two that shaped how you saw the world?
I believed in God.
You believed in God, but you're probably seeing a whole lot of not God.
Yeah, I saw a lot of not God. Absolutely. Yeah. But God took me to another level to see things like different. If you said what made me change.
Yeah. Do you think you are a different person 25 years later? From 1998, the kid who goes into prison, who now you're a grandfather.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do public math, but like it's 2025 and you're a grandfather and you spent a lot of time incarcerated.
But I was providing for my family while I was in prison.
Here's the thing about Vern, is that no matter what they did to him, he didn't let it break him.
Yeah.
I mean, there were times where, he might have lost his faith in God, questioned it, right? Yeah. But built it back up. And every single time that they put him in solitary for bogus reasons, mostly, right? Yeah. What did he do? I mean, he was in the first children's book he wrote from solitary confinement because the mother of his child was killed by a drunk driver. And he was like, how can I parent my child from solitary confinement? And so that's why he wrote, illustrated, and published his first children's book,
Mommy, I Want to Fly.
Mommy, I Want to Fly. And that is like, it's as a father, I mean, this is who he is as a human being in 2010, right?
So 2010, you write, illustrate, and publish your first book while you are incarcerated.
While I was incarcerated, but in the hole.
But in solitary confinement. Yeah. You're in solitary confinement. Do they give you paper?
Yeah, the first time I was in solitary confinement with this book, I went to I was accused of throwing feces on a guard. And it's a guy named Vernon Bateman. And Vernon Bateman, he was like real radical, whatever. Yeah. And he threw feces on the guard, but it was close to my name. They put me in a solitary confinement.
For how long?
18 months.
18 months?
Yeah. And that's common.
And that's
how, like, you didn't talk, like, do you get to talk to another person?
I mean, you wasn't. You talk on the range, and people on the range, mostly people that's on the range is taking medication, so it's a different level of conversation, And everybody is like, and people throwing feces. Feces is like a war weapon then,
What?
Yeah, bro. Like,
18 months. How big's the room?
This is different because they took me from that room and put me in another room.
Okay.
This room, they only gave me 2 books in the Bible, But it was a camera watching me because they thought I threw feces, So I had a little piece of pencil I found in a room, and that's why I did this book. I did this book on the walls.
On the walls?
Yeah.
No way.
I first had the concept, and I was visualizing like being a father to my daughter and stuff in there, and I was doing it on the back of request slips. So I'm like, man, when I make it to population, that's why I was like telling you how valuable anything that's in color is in that isolated confinement. It's like you got crayons, like that's like gold, to an artist, to a person, especially like me, because that's my voice, art,
Yeah.
So Yeah, so I got it when I finally got out. Really, who got me out at the time, and I'm just being honest with you, Andre Carson saw like this too much. Y'all ain't got nothing to keep this man in that hole, you know.
Yeah.
So he got me out the hole, and
How did he learn about your story?
I wrote him. I reached out to him while I was incarcerated. Yeah, and I wrote everybody, and he responded back. He was the one that responded back.
You end up getting out of solitary confinement. How long? After 18 months?
Yeah.
And I mean, how many times did you end up getting sent back into solitary confinement over your time?
Altogether, it added up to 13 years.
13 of your 25 years.
My influence, they feel like my influence is too much. Like doing something positive, you would think like, man, this is what, but if they can't make money off of it, why do it? Why we want you to do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when did you start making money while you were incarcerated?
I was already like selling food and saving
So
my food.
you
and
were
stuff,
like,
and selling
okay.
like the store, man, if you buy a roll of tissue, bring me back too, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to do that to
just like hustling.
Yeah, because I ain't want to keep depending on my family to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but that's what's going on. It's a big extortion, and it's times where, say, a Roman noodle soup costs 50 cents, but now commissary prices change. They say they raising it to $2, and it's like, well, it's time to not buy it. You know, let's stand up for ourselves and our family. Let's go on hunger strike.
And you went on a hunger strike.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I went on hunger strike like more times than
how long?
Sometime I go on hunger strike for 30 days or something.
30 days?
Yeah. But
what?
Yeah. But I go on a talk fast too though. The talk fast is more
you just won't speak to anyone?
Yeah, I won't
like
speak.
like a game of silent treatment, but like for an extended period of time?
Yeah, like I went on a talk fast for a year and like a year and 4 months or something like that.
You didn't speak to anyone for a year and 4 months?
Yeah.
What caused you to do that?
It helped you. It's a different. It's hard for me to just say it because it sounds so. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like far out, whatever. But it make you govern your mind. It make you govern your tongue. You watch what you say. You speak positive. You want to put energy in the influence and everything, you know.
Okay. So hunger strikes and talk fests, that's intense. You know, like a lot of people have no idea how that feels, you know, or have been had so much gumption and conviction to like go on and do something like that. Wow. Okay. And so how many children's books do you? Oh wait.
Well, I was going to say, and at the same time, he is filing, with the help of jailhouse lawyers, motions. You know?
Jailhouse lawyers.
Yeah, jailhouse lawyers. Basically, like people who are in jail and who studied up on the law and
that know the law more. That study the law library. Like it's times where people say this the law library and this recreation in the gym in the weight room or something. This the games and basketball and video games they brought in there now. You probably see 70 people go here and you probably see 2 people go here.
Yeah.
Because people gave up the fight or put the fight in their attorney hand.
Right.
Yeah. So I was one of the people that was going to the law library with the guys, but I work out still different, you know.
And so because in between like 1998 and 2010, right, the victim recanted 3 separate times within 1 year, sworn deposition, wrote a letter to Bernard Carter that said basically help put an innocent man behind bars. And for that, I'm sorry. I please beg of you to forgive me. I beg Mr. Bateman to forgive me. There is a further one where she goes to court and does it and says that Mary Banks pointed him out of the lineup between 2003 and 2004. And so that is also happening. I'm truly sorry, but the shock of all the events leading up to the police department placed me in a position to simply want to get the matter over. I'm sorry. I give you my address and confidence if you need to contact me. And I want to do anything I can to help in the future. That's to Bernard Carter in 2000.
Who's Bernard Carter?
A prosecutor at Lake County.
Yeah.
And that's in 19...
This why I was bitter of a lot of things before God. And then a lot of people in prison say they're innocent, But some people not
and
innocent.
There are people in prison that are innocent, and there are people that are not innocent, and that has to be a challenge when it does probably sound like a lot of people have that talk track.
Yeah, it's a guy.
But then there's people on the out, like this. This is the woman who accused you.
Yeah,
is like recanting on multiple occasions, saying that it's not true.
Yeah. Chris Veal, the brother, in 2009, wrote just a notarized letter, and it said basically, my sister Angela Truitt suffers from a bipolar psychiatric disease, and she actually just returned. We didn't know where she was for 3 days. She came back and she told the story basically similar to what she told the police detectives in 1998. And I will do anything I can to clear Mr. Bateman's name.
But a recantation, the way that a prosecutor fight a recantation is through bribery. You bribe the victim or something like that.
So they think that dealings are going on outside. We're like, hey, we'll pay you or do whatever to get you to.
So now when she come back to court, I'm thinking I'm about to get exonerated after she done recanted, and she come back to court. We like
from the psych ward.
Yeah, in her residence was a mental ward. So she get on the stand and say, well, I think the prosecutor, she said my sister gave her $100 to say that I didn't rape her.
Because she was a drug addict.
And all the time that if they would have saw the time that she took her medicine at the mental ward and the time that she took the stand, it would have showed that she was incompetent to even. So I asked her, because the story, I tell my attorney, I said, okay, she said that day or whatever, or that night or whatever, she walked her dog. I told my attorney, ask her, what's her dog name? I don't care what it is. You got to know your pet's animals' names, So it's just and he like, I don't think that'll make sense of it. I said, just ask her, what's her dog? We go with stories since everybody taking, because everybody can change stories, but can't nobody change time and can't nobody change DNA, But if the DNA is out the case, I'm fighting the case with no DNA, man.
A drug addict, you can, get $100 to a lot of things once. But you can't give a drug addict $100 and get him to recant 3 different times over a year.
Different year. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that just don't make sense.
2003, 2005.
I'd be like, all right, $100 first time, $200 second time. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's BS. That's like, but they believed it in that when he appealed in 2007, 2008, they said that we conclude that the evidence does not support a finding of appellate ineffectiveness, and that the claim that the alleged victim recanted her testimony is believable.
And the defense. So I went back now to the point that now I'm looking at it like, you know what, I ain't even mad at the victim no more. I'm mad at the system, because where it showed a miscarriage of justice right here. Because now it's to the point that where is the DNA? Because that's what impeach everybody's credibility.
Yeah.
Where is the DNA, So the prosecutor said the woman said the perpetrators wore condoms, but that was a lie. The woman never said that. So that was their defense. And we showed, when we went back to court, to the prosecutor, well, that guy got fired. He shouldn't have said that and this, that. So now we went back again. We now I'm supposed to have a respond on the 26th.
One, I want to talk through how you end up putting out more children's books, and 2, how you end up getting your freedom, and where you guys, your paths crossed in the first place.
Yeah.
Let's start there, actually.
Well, through Leon Benson, and when we connected the next day, at the Liberation Center where I volunteered there, I paid to volunteer there.
Yeah.
It's all community supported. And I was like, all right, well, this guy obviously needs to be liberated. Something about him. Like I could, But like, and we believe him before he even walks in the door because we know Leon, we know how many people are behind bars that should be. And so we just get to work. And I respect that, about Vernon. And I could see that he's out there not only fighting for himself, and he's not playing victim. He is saying, I want to get these chains off me so I can do more for my community. Because like within 2 months of working together, we organized a mural uncovering, there was a gift, a philanthropic gift that Vernon gave to the district theater. And this dude's got no, it's hard for him to get a job. He's got no money. The money he gives it away to homeless people, right? And he's doing these things for the community, painting murals, right? Talking to kids, organizing art shows to educate about gun violence. And that is like somebody I want to help and I want in my community, right? But also, then we just get to spend the time together. We got a lot in common, and we both move at the same speed. And it's kind of like you might not look at us and be like, oh yeah, those two are natural, friends. But Vern's smart about that strategically, right? Like, and he teaches me a lot. He's taught me a lot.
About what? Like, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from Vernon?
Yeah. Well, I'll bring in my school to teach my students, He's taught me a lot about the criminal injustice system. He's taught me a lot about how to be a kinder, more forgiving, gentle human being, right? How to be patient and try to see both sides all the sides in the story.
Yeah.
And he's taught me about art. And that's actually right before I met him, I published a book on art, my first, because I finally thought I understood it, right? And remember that time I came over to your house?
Yeah.
And I was showing you that the book release launched, and somebody was talking about my book, and you were like, it was like they were saying the exact same thing about what I was saying as he does with his art,
Yeah.
So he teaches me a lot about art too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many children's books do you end up publishing while you were incarcerated?
I got like 13 books, but I published 5 while I was incarcerated.
What's the process look like of publishing a book while you're incarcerated? Like, I could just go on Amazon today on my laptop, PDF scan up some things and it's out. Yeah. How are you doing it? How were you doing it?
Yeah, I was doing it from the whole. At this time, like I got the connections in prison and stuff, so even while I'm in the hole, the guys that's at the law library, I could get them a coffee or something, and they'll edit it and try to, help me as best as the way they can. And
how could you get them something while you were in solitary confinement?
I could have like my family to send them money or something like that.
Dude, it just seems like a really high stakes scenario situation, and
it's
learning how to navigate that seems intense.
Yeah, it's so much, man. Like it's I did a board game. I did this book. I built a board game. It took me 4.5 years to build a board game on this book. So the board game, and I built it out of popsicle sticks. So at the time they stopped serving popsicle sticks, selling popsicle sticks to prisoners. Because a guy made a knife out of it, and ended up stabbing somebody or whatever. So that's why they don't even serve pork chops, because guy took a pork chop bone and killed the person.
Like there are bad, you've seen, you talk about being God-fearing. Like you've seen innocent people and you've seen evil,
Yeah.
And how should someone who's never been in that space think about that? Because I do think it's this blanket of everyone is the most evil person you've ever met.
You could think that way, or you could think somebody could be the best person too. Mm-hmm. But most people, as a defense, and they think like that. Like I know people like, man, why you probably just met this person. That's what you always say. How long y'all met? And it'll probably be 20 minutes from now when we. And people like, man, you talk to strangers and this type of stuff. But I just feel like, man, you gotta give up. Like I learned, like in this book, and They Can't Hurt Me No More. I'll try to teach the art of forgiveness. Yeah, that's what's missing,
Yeah, and one of the books. So this was They Can't Hurt Me.
Yeah,
this is about the art of forgiveness.
Yeah.
What was the hardest relationship to mend, or who was the hardest person to give forgiveness to for you?
I've been through so much, man. I've been through more than I'm telling you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really, like way more than I'm telling you, you know.
Yeah.
No matter what, just put revenge, because you think of revenge, you know. When you don't have forgiveness, you think of revenge. But when you have God, you know, revenge belongs to God, you know.
Talk to me about the other book. The title's escaping me, but about gun violence.
If bullets could cry.
If bullets could cry.
Yeah.
You want to show that to the yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's this book about?
If bullets could cry is about like social injustice, but I gave bullets emotions and a concept and ideology and a perception for they could feel and they could go through it, and they not the ones that's killing. It's the people that's using the bullets to kill.
Yeah.
Because some people really love their guns. You know, if people love their guns, like, so that's why I try to find the bridge, because I really, you got to think I've been in prison with people that principal levels probably don't line up with mine, but we still stood in the same line to eat.
Yeah.
You know, and we still had to pray over the food. So I look at it like guys that really made mistakes while they was children. It's no bridge to make remorse. It's no remorse bridge around. Like, even if a guy killed this person and they get sentenced to the death penalty, to me, this is only my opinion, what's bigger, how that guy greater because he killed a person with a gun and you killed him with a needle. To me, it's still the same, you know.
Like, prisons are supposed to be rehabilitative.
Like, if a person do believe in prison, like, I know you gotta believe in me, you know, because I've been through the broken. I am like the face of fallen humanity, where everybody that gave up and everybody that like said this and said that, but no matter, to be accused of rape, to me, that's like everything against I stand for, you know. So that's why I gotta fight beyond the walls, you know.
How did you end up getting released?
Parole, the Innocent Project.
What's the Innocent Project?
Innocent Project is attorneys from New York. In the Exoneration Clinic is attorneys from Chicago and Notre Dame. They came together and formed as my attorneys to present me in parole hearing, and they released me from parole. But I'm been on parole stipulations. I probably got the hardest parole stipulations out here.
They're unconstitutional, according to Indiana law.
I'm the only parolee that's out here that's allowed to wear a body camera, you know, because the last parole officer I had, he tried to do some extra stuff to me, like try to spend the night at my home and try to do make sexual proposals. So they fired him, and I filed a restraining order against them.
The restrictions, or what?
They're unconstitutional.
Yeah,
actually.
Are they called what were they, like the terms? What are some things that
being in a relationship with a woman, I gotta get approval to go on a date, to like hold a hand, to tell a person I love them. I feel like that's against my parole. Yeah.
And I can, because here's the thing is like, the Meet the Artist Gala, the premier like African-American art, exhibit in Indianapolis, Vernon had pieces there, but he couldn't go there to the library because there could be children in the vicinity.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to.
So everybody who gets out, has like stipulations, drinking, stuff like that. But he's got like an additional 35. And many of them have to do with minors, even though his alleged crime had nothing to do with the minor. So there's a 2014 court case in Indiana Supreme Court, Bleaky versus Lemon, which says that's unconstitutional. He should be able to be around children, right, without any harm, without violating his parole, right? But he can't even walk by a library or a park where children are known to play.
Congregate, yeah.
Yeah, congregate. They denied him going to visit his lawyers in Chicago because it was going to be at a park. They denied him the right to go to church. He had to have a pastor, Donnell Howard, come in and fight for him to go to church because there could be kids there.
There's not like a reason as to like what they say as to why?
they don't have to say anything. The reason is they're afraid of what this man what the case will reveal, and I think they're afraid of his power to heal our community. They're trying to protect themselves.
I was speaking on you before, like it's a thing called a blue code of silence. Like whenever I was telling them to pull it up or whatever, but they try to stop me from writing children books, you know. But I know how valuable these books is. Like I know how necessary our youth is, you know. That's like the key, you know. But that's one of the major things, man. That's like I never touched my grandson. I never, you know. Then I got a situation now where I won't speak too much on it, but I had a child inside a prison.
You had a child
inside a prison.
Inside a prison, yeah, because you weren't expecting. You had an expecting mother when you went in.
No, my child is 16. Another child.
So this is in 2007, 2008. Well, he's incarcerated. After been incarcerated for 9 years, 10 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could. There's a lot. Yeah, for sure.
That's why I say it's a lot. We probably do a part 2. Man.
Yeah, right.
Because we got like right now, even in my case, the evidence they saying. The evidence room burnt up, so it's like how I'm fighting some like I'm like, when did the evidence room burn up?
If you had an overall message of the story of Vernon Bateman that you wanted people to know about, what would that be?
I really wanted to be a law of Vernon T. Bateman law, that it won't be another 18-year-old coming inside of prison and have to fight for his life without no DNA, without no just being a description of being profiled, you know. That's what I really want it to be, a law, so it won't be. But it's so many people that is fighting still, and really, like when I first got locked up and I was fighting, you know, I called a Murray show for a DNA test because that's what I was looking at thinking, and they was telling me, no, you need to connect with the Innocent Project or something like that, you know. That's because I didn't have the knowledge to know where I was just thinking DNA tests, you know. So I called a Murray show to try to get help, you know.
What does the road to getting exonerated look like?
It's bright now.
What has to happen for that to happen for you?
Actually, what you're doing right now is so major for me. You giving me a voice, you know. Because some people see me, and even though I'm smiling, but that's because I've been through a lot, you know. I've been through a lot. So I saw death in there. I saw everything you could see. I saw it in there.
Yeah.
I just given the world this part of me and the best part of the best version of Vernon T. Bateman that you could get. That's what I'm trying to do.
What do you hope your art makes people feel when they see it?
Just encouraging, man, to know that like perseverance is like the backbone of everything. Don't give up, even though it looked like it's all you could give up. Don't give up. I did it with nothing, man. Probably if I didn't have a paintbrush or nothing, I probably would have did it in blood, you know.
That's powerful. If I didn't have a paintbrush, I would have done it in blood.
True.
The final thing I think that I want to talk about, there's a lot of gray in whether it's, you know, the people that are incarcerated that are innocent and the people that are guilty and the people that are like bad and good and God-fearing and not God. Like there's a lot of that. And then similar, I know, Derek, just from hearing kind of your sentiment and like your opinion, like on the other side, it's like not every person is out for a family vendetta that's like a prosecutor or that's an attorney or that's a whatever. Sure. And so I feel like a lot of this world that we live in gets painted in white and black, and it's this or it's that, it's innocent, it's guilty, it's good, bad. What would you talk about to people on all sides of all these, whether it's political, whether it's race, whether it's...
I speak on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I speak on that. I'm gonna read this to you because you said that, what you said.
Yeah.
It's called deliberate indifference. If I was to rob a bank and or me and you was to rob a bank, you get 2 years and they give me 200 years. They deliberately gave me 200 years because of our indifferences.
Okay.
And it's a law called deliberate indifference. You got to give me an equal justice as you give the next person, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, deliberate indifference. We all just witnessed a generation that chose to sacrifice their lives through an airborne pandemic and march over the mercy of the innocent, sweet baby justice. I meant just us. Deliberate indifference, speaking for the gray. What's the difference from black and white? What is the difference in Republican and Democrat? What is the difference between Crips and Bloods? What is the difference from supremacists and terrorists? I hope and pray that God used me as he used the people in heaven above, the ones who made us all forget about the difference and march together as one to stand against our differences. I was just meaning, like it just brought me back to, like you said, we speaking for the gray. Like it's a lot of gray. And the gray is the difference. The gray is like, if we could put our differences aside and just see the principle of things, you know, the morals of things.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting piece of getting to host the show. Is I get to sit in conversations like this and hear people talk about their life experiences that's far different from mine. Yeah. Whether it's your story or the story of professional athletes or like just people that grew up in different ways from all around the world that have now somehow landed in the great state of Indiana. If there's one thing, just from listening to this story, as I reflect on what you've taught me in the last 60, 75 minutes, is creating the space to listen and to be curious. Even when, I mean, I won't lie, like there are a lot of these questions I was going to that I don't really know how to phrase just in a way. You know, like we made it through. But I was like, oh man, like I didn't grow up like you grew up. So I don't know what's
disrespect or disrespectful. But I really care about what you said. Like even when a person read my book, I wonder what they see or what they feel.
Well,
you know?
And it would be so easy. Like there might have been questions in the back of your head. You're like, how the hell is this guy asking this question? Like, because that's what you've seen. That's your life. That's how you grew up. But I think that the level of patience and understanding that you showed and I'm out here asking like, fuck, like I don't know if this is gonna be the wrong thing to ask. Like all those things. That's a hard conversation. Like I'll be honest. Like at the end of this, I'm like, I didn't want. It was just a challenging, and it's a challenging. And I would encourage people to have more conversations like that. And on both sides of the coin, be willing to ask where you're being guided. Like ask the questions that I have, that I'm sure listeners have, and for people on your side that might have interesting backgrounds, to be slow to anger or blow that off, because people grew up different than everyone, and like no two stories are the same.
Right. And you know, that's why I choose art, because it's a universal language. Like hunger, it's a universal language. Laughter, it's a universal language. Pain is a universal language. Music, you know, these universal languages. So that's why, like, art. When I wrote my first book, people were like, you gonna make it black characters, white characters. I use insects so to get the principles and morals out. I use insects that you still know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like you can relate. Well, no matter where you are in the world, you can relate to a bug's life. You know, like it's a bug's life. Like
to just break the barrier of the
versus it being like versus it being for people that grew up in rural Indiana, or versus it being for people who grew up in the projects in Gary. You know, like everyone can put themselves in. Who's is the main character?
Modesty.
Even like, you know, the Koreans in Japan. We're talking about how to get him free, and if I can say a couple of words about that. In addition to, you know, the things that Vernon's taught me, it's not just about his experiences, but it's about like academic, like history he's taught me. You know, I walked into his house one time and he was like, "Do you know the real Tarzan?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "No, the real Tarzan, Otabanga from the Congo." And he taught me all about it. And there's a connection.
Bring so much art here, but I was like, I'm gonna
say, well, but there's a connection because like my grandfather had a world record in swimming, and he beat Tarzan's, like the guy who played Tarzan's record. So they called him the man who beat Tarzan. So I was like, I'm like, damn, this dude teaches me about my own family and this academic history. And then I think that the key thing is that the juries and the judges, right, they respond to the power of the people, the pressure of the people. right? If nobody knows about a case, they can decide whatever they want in the quiet. But if you bring it to light, and that's all Vernon's been trying to do, right? And that's what also I learned from him is like, look at, like, if we don't, we got to be strategic about it. But if the people are there and they're aware of it, then they're going to be watching, and people will know that they're watching.
Yeah.
And so we also have a petition at freevernon.org. Sign it. Every single signature counts for real. Yeah. Because we got to show that he's got a broad base of support, and we got to like just manifest it, you know? And the books made their way to Tokyo. The Koreans in Japan, they can relate to it.
Off my website, I don't think you saw the website, Baby 22, gunsafetyllc.com.
And they now use the books for their English language curriculum. Vernon T. Bateman's books.
No way.
So we're doing fundraising. So when we go back in January, we can bring more books there.
I'm kind of saying this in general to listeners out there. It's good to put yourself in situations that are different and that are, at times like might stretch you in places and make you think different ways and ask different questions, and not just always take an easy route out. Learning about growing up in the projects of Gary. Yeah. I had never talked to anyone. I've lived in Indiana. I am the self-proclaimed Indiana guy. I have never talked to anyone who grew up in Gary, Indiana until today. So hearing your story about how you grew up, how life was different there, and about what you're doing today, I think this is an incredible story of, you talk about forgiveness. You talk about resilience and not giving up. You talk about, the guy that you knew that got sentenced to 20 years and ended his life. I think that it takes a lot of courage to keep going and keep fighting and, and trying to spread this positive message through your books and through your art.
Not being bitter, just being better within the situation.
Put that on a t-shirt. Not being bitter, just getting better, man. I really appreciated the show, and I'm really excited to go out. For those that are watching, we're going to go out and we're going to see a little bit of the art that you brought for us to see.
Cool.
Dope.
Cool. All right, so take me through. This is the beginning of art for you.
Right here is he walking with a dog leash with shackles on his ankles and a spit bag over his head, and he's going to the shower. Here is a guy that was trying to commit suicide, so he was spelling blood and help. He was spelling help on his window. This was another guy. This was the same guy. And the nurse giving him his medicine. And this was another guy that's on his way to the shower by the prison guards. It just, you gotta have shackles on. Yeah. And every time you come out, you gotta have shackles on you.
Wow. And this was before, so you just had one pencil?
This was a rubber ink pen.
A rubber ink pen.
Yeah.
So then how do you end up getting crayons?
Crayons, this guy right here, he swallowed a pack of batteries and they pumped his stomach. They took him out to the hospital and pumped his stomach. And they told him, if you be good, we'll let you use these crayons to color while you're here. And after the surgery, he used them in color, but he smuggled them back. And I gave him my breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a month.
You gave him your breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a month to get a pack of crayons?
Yeah.
What is this contraption that we have here? How did you get?
It's called a Cadillac. So his door is under my door. I can look out my door and see him, and his cell is right here. So we made a string using probably a piece of the blanket and a end of the toothpaste that you see right here. Mm-hmm. And that way it'll slide, and I can slide him my sandwich, and he can slide me the crayons.
What?
Through the door.
How did you guys negotiate the terms of this agreement for crayons for 30 days of food?
He knew that I was talking about art while I was back there, but I had no art supplies.
Yeah.
Only thing I got is this. So that's what I'm using. That's what you see all this is through this, using this ink pen to draw all of this. Yeah. And that's what I was praying before I got here, that I knew what I was gonna come out to do with gun violence and my mascot and everything, and to do a gun violent play and everything. Yeah. And donate and stuff.
What was the idea?
The idea was first the book and then the board game, and turn it into virtual reality, the board game.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what I was in the hole doing.
So you end up getting crayons. Did that lead you to one of your hunger strikes? I mean, you don't get breakfast, lunch, or dinner for a month.
Yeah, most of the time I'll do a hunger strike to let my family know that I'm in lockup, because I get snatched from lockup and they're like, what did he on lockup for now? What did he do? Yeah. And most of the time it just be having dudes doing goals. You got to think every day is the same. Yeah. You know?
Okay. So then you end up here.
So now prisoners drinking coffee, watching TV. One guy got put out the dorm. He taking his mattress, and that's impossible.
And this was, you made this
TV, inside of prison.
Inside of prison, they had is this like watercolor? Or is
no,
this
paint. This acrylic.
Acrylic
on canvas. Okay. Yep. So
how'd you learn? You just taught yourself how to do this?
Yeah.
No way.
The first painting I done since I got out of prison, I visualized holding my grandson, because I never had the opportunity because of the stipulations to touch my grandson. Yeah. So, and it's like a patio, me standing on the patio, and this is where I live in my apartment.
Man, it's wild. This is the evolution of your art. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all my gear recommendations at Sweetwater. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.